Hey, this is Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid, and I have today the 15th issue of Transformers. This one is Robot Master. This is the introduction of Robot Master. This is kind of crazy. This is something only the government could come up with. So we've got this guy, Robot Master. The issue starts out with Megatron, who is 2 issues ago kind of went wandering into the woods. Well, he's been wandering for a while. He's looking for fuel. He doesn't yet have a way to take the fuel and process it for himself into Energon. So he is out and he is attacking a strip mining place. So it's like a strip mine, and he's attacking it. And while he's attacking it, he's trying to get fuel. He tries to eat coal, but that doesn't work for him. And what happens is he goes and he just becomes completely inert. He's run out of fuel, and he's stopping there, and he's basically useless to everybody. So we cut over to the government agent. His name is Walter Barnett. He showed up in the last issue, where he works as like a consultant for the III, which is the Intelligence and Information Institute, a government agency. And so he's bringing his findings to the government agency, and they show him some pictures and stuff of the robots. There's still no differentiation between Autobots and Decepticons. They think all robots are bad, and the council there brings in GB Blackrock, I swear the guy was a bad guy, but in all of these issues so far, he's been a good guy. He's been on the side of the Autobots, and he tries to tell the government that there are good Transformers and bad Transformers, and they basically shut him down, and they tell him, that's it, thank you, we don't need your help anymore, and they send him off. So Barnett goes home, and when he gets home, his kid hasn't picked up his stuff, which I am very, very aware of. My kids never pick up their things until I kind of, have to raise my voice a little bit. So the kid is reading a comic book called Robot Master. So you can see here, Robot Master. And so he's reading this comic book by Robot Master, and it is printed by none other than Marvel Comics. As you can actually see on the comic book that it's a Marvel title. So Barnett gets this idea. He goes off to New York to the studios for Marvel, and it just happens to be the same day that the writer of Robot Master gets canceled, and his name is Donnie Finkelberg. So Donnie Finkelberg is Robot Master. So Barnett finds Finkelberg right here in the offices of Marvel. As you can see, Captain America and Hulk in there. And he asks him who he is. He decides, well, I'm going to take you to lunch, and we're going to talk about Robot Master. We need to come up with some story as to why there are these Transformers on Earth. Are they, we can't say they're aliens. It's going to cause a panic. We got to say, like, who are they? Who sent them? Is it a terrorist organization? Is it this person? Is it that person? Well, Donnie is a writer, and he is going to come up with this story. So, being paid by the government $25,000 to come up with this story of why the robots are here, so that we can bring it to the American people, and they'll believe it. So, a government conspiracy against what's happening with the Transformers. But what's happening with the actual Transformers, the Autobots, they're at the Ark. They have the 5 new guys who showed up in the last issue. Hoist, Smokescreen, Trax, Grapple, and there was one other, Skids. So it looks like Hoist has become kind of like the mechanic of the group. He's not a medic like Ratchet. He does routine maintenance on the other Autobots, and he's very strict about it, is what we're seeing here in these panels. So we got Hoist is pretty strict on it. Then Wheeljack cuts in and he says there's this crazy transmission, and there's this guy showing up, and he is the Robot Master, saying that he is in control of the robots that are terrorizing the Pacific Northwest. Because as we know, the Transformers there are based in Oregon. That's where they crash-landed in Mount St. Hilary. And so, this guy is telling this story. The government has made this story here, and he's the Robot Master, and what he wants He doesn't even actually say. He just like wants people to submit to the will of the Robot Master, and he'll be trampled beneath the feet of my robot army. GB Blackrock sees this broadcast, and he's like, he knows the truth. So as he is leaving his home, he's swarmed by all of these reporters because of all the troubles that he's had so far with the robots. Them taking over his plant and them taking over his oil rig. So they're trying to swarm him about it, and he doesn't say much about it because he knows he's going to get, shut up if that's the case. So he goes out to leave, and he finds that Bumblebee is there waiting for him. He decides not to take his car. He gets into Bumblebee, and they have a conversation about what's going on here. And Bumblebee's asking him, like, why can't you tell people that there's good Autobots and good Transformers, bad Transformers? And basically, GB explains that the public relations, they're trying to, show that there's a real threat to it of the robots, and they don't differentiate at all. And so Donnie Finkelberg comes back to get his money the next day for his work, and they decide, you know what, we're going to double your money, and we want you to do another broadcast. So they bring him out to where Megatron is. Now, in this video, they show Megatron. He's still at the strip mine, and he's completely inert. The Decepticons haven't found him yet because, for some reason, Soundwave is trying to get information by hanging out on a street corner in front of a electronics shop and hoping that somebody will pick him up and bring him inside so that he can hear the TV transmission. I don't understand why he does that and why he can't just tap into the radio waves. But they trash a electronics store, he and Ravage. As you can see, Ravage just busting out of that store after he was found out. And they now have the location of Megatron. It seems kind of a primitive way for them to find that, but that's what happens. So they bring Donnie to Megatron. Megatron is, he's just basically there. He's still functioning inside. He can hear everything that everyone's saying. And he's actually thinking to himself, he's like, for that remark, I will crush you into protoplasmic pulp, fleshling, when I can move again. So, don't make Megatron mad, even when you think that he is, can't hear you. Donnie goes to do his video broadcast in front of Megatron. He decides he's a smoker, so that they could smoke back in these comics. And he goes and he lights a match on Megatron. And you can see in this panel, like, Megatron, even though he's completely inert, but you can see in this panel, he's not happy about that at all. And so he does his broadcast in front of Megatron. But as he's doing that, he's confronted by GB Blackrock saying, look, I don't know why you're doing this. This guy is very dangerous. There are Decepticons that could come and get him at any moment. And there are good robots like the Autobots. So, it's not smart for you to do that. Then the Autobots show up. And when they show up, they come to, basically, they're going to take Megatron away so that they can keep the humans safe. But the humans turn on them, and they fire. And what I don't understand is that when the army attacks the Autobots get hurt and they get injured from it. But when they attack the Decepticons, everything just bounces right off them. I don't believe that they're that much stronger than the Autobots, and they're made that much stronger. It just seems very inconsistent in that way. So, Autobots show up, they get attacked. Then the Decepticons show up, and they fuel up Megatron. Now, Megatron is fully fueled up, which apparently he drinks it. I don't know, like, why do they show his mouth like that? It's weird. But they give him fuel. He now attacks the arm. Actually, he attacks a dump truck for no good reason. And then smashes up their helicopter, which, that makes sense. But he attacks the army, and the Autobots, instead of helping, because the army has attacked him and it's weakened them, they retreat. And they basically, they take off because they can't fight the Decepticons in their weakened state. And so, I think in their retreat, the humans aren't going to see that they're heroic in that way. And now Megatron has won, and he's back with the Decepticons. and they captured Donnie Finkelberg, and Donnie makes a deal with Megatron. So, you know, to spare his life, he makes a deal with Megatron and to continue to portray himself as the Robot Master. And you know, there's a point where he shows Megatron's power and smashing a boulder, and you know, so here he says, "Submit to the will of Robot Master or fall before their savage fury." So he is still Robot Master, and that is such an 80s costume for a guy. And so while he's there, they've done their broadcasts, Soundwave broadcast everything out to, you know, the entire world. Which, why does he need to go to an electronics store to get the news and he can broadcast everything? Doesn't make any sense to me at all. Anyway, so Donnie, in his last bit here, lights another match on Megatron, and Megatron lifts him up by his cape and sticks his finger right in his face, and he says, you know, if you ever do that again, smoking is going to be the least of your, you know, the hazards to your health. And we end with Megatron keeping, yeah, let's get that focused there. It's not focusing for me. So we end with Donnie with Megatron, and supposedly he's going to, you know, he still needs him to play that role of the Robot Master, but he's not going to kill him yet. But Donnie has been warned. This was an interesting issue. I liked it. I liked it better than issue 13, which I still don't like that. The one with you know, Joey Bag of Donuts doing his thing where he gets Megatron in gun form. But now Megatron is back with all the Decepticons, and he, you know, he's going to start challenging Shockwave soon. So we'll see that coming up, the rematch between Megatron and Shockwave. Hopefully, now that he's all fueled up, you know, we'll see him take over as the Decepticon leader again. Stay tuned for the next episode. This is Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as Big Damn Kid, and you can also find me making videos here every day. You can also go to BigDamnKid.com, where I write up about each of the issues. And hey, thanks for watching, and thanks to Wild Time Comics for letting me film here, because I just come in and get a chance to do some filming. And last week when I was here, I forgot the name, so just want to tell you again, this is the comic book store that I go to, Wild Time Comics in South Attleboro, Massachusetts. Thanks for watching.